The first cruise ship of the year has arrived in Thunder Bay. Saskatchewan evacuees return home. And Celine Dion cancels all concerts until next spring. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Thunder Bay's much anticipated cruise ship season has officially begun.
The Viking Octantis pulled into Pool 6 last night and marks the first of 15 visits from 4 cruise ships this year. Vasilios Bellos was aboard the vessel today and joins us live in studio with the details. Vasilios?
Thanks, Riley. The Viking Octantis will use Thunder Bay as a turnaround port 3 times this summer, though there was a clear buzz in the community for its first arrival last night. It has city officials excited for the opportunity to market Thunder Bay to travelers from our region and across the globe. The arrival of the Viking Octantis marks the beginning of what's anticipated to be a very successful cruise ship season in Thunder Bay. The 378-passenger vessel arrived at the Pool 6 dock before 8 last night and will use Thunder Bay as a turnaround port 3 times this season. City officials joined ship captain Håkan Gustafsson to exchange gifts and tour the ship Friday afternoon. The captain was at a Thunder Bay restaurant during the Octantis' arrival and felt an immediate buzz in the room.
Quite the happening with all the guests in the restaurant was looking at the ship and so on and start chatting about it. So it was quite interesting to be there.
The Octantis visited Thunder Bay last year as well, with the Pool 6 dock receiving some upgrades since that time. Gustafsson says the changes are noticeable and that it stands out compared to others on Lake Superior.
This is the best one, I must say. Some of the other docks is just a concrete pier and so on. So it's you have to be very careful when you're docking. So yeah, this is very smooth to dock here. Yeah.
With the Octantis having a capacity of close to 400 passengers, many in the community welcome the economic and tourism benefits its arrival brings. Tourism Thunder Bay's Paul Pepe says having a great relationship with a cruise line like Viking will only continue to benefit the city.
Opportunity for us to showcase the city to their guests. This is one of the world's most well-regarded cruise lines, and so being aligned with them, having Thunder Bay as a port of call for them is really important for our reputation as a community and as a destination.
The Viking Octantis will remain at Pool 6 until late Saturday night, though it's just the first of 15 visits from 4 different cruise ships this year. Vasilios Bellos, TBT News.
Grain handlers at 3 local elevators will not head to the picket line this weekend. Members of the United Steelworkers have voted in favor of the latest contract offer from the Lakehead Elevators Association. The 180 grain handlers represented by the USW gathered at the Moose Hall this afternoon to hear details of the offer. The union members work at the Richardson, Viterra, and Superior grain elevators. Their last contract expired on February 1st, and they've been trying to reach a new deal and avoid the first work stoppage in 20 years. Sources say the members voted 83% in favor of the deal. Now that the contract has been approved, the strike action planned for tomorrow morning outside the 3 grain elevators has been canceled.
The Thunder Bay Health Coalition began collecting votes from the public today for what it's calling a people's referendum against the Ford government's Bill 60. The bill allows private clinics to perform more health procedures, but the Ontario Health Coalition insists it's another step towards privatized healthcare in the province. 14 voting booths have been set up at locations around Thunder Bay, where those with an opinion about Bill 60 can cast a ballot, answering yes to no to the question, do you want our public hospital services to be privatized to for-profit hospitals and clinics? The voting process is taking place today and tomorrow, and about 120,000 ballots have already been cast online province-wide. Local Health Coalition co-chair Jules Tupker says his organization has polling stations across the Northwest.
Fort Francis, they can cast a ballot at the Safeway store and at the Canadian Tire, at the Beaver Mills market in Rainy River. In Scarborough, they can vote at the Town Hall and Zechner's store. In Terrace Bay, they can vote at the Town Hall also, the Recreation Center, which is all the same building. In Scarborough also, where people vote on a regular for the provincial and municipal and federal elections, at the same location there. So there's in Red Rock, you can vote at the Legion.
Close to 1,000 voting stations have been set up province-wide. The votes will be counted on Sunday, the results will be announced on Tuesday, and then delivered to Queen's Park a day later. The province is under no obligation to accept the results of the vote.
Ontario's Natural Resources Minister was in Atikokan today to announce a $19.6 million fund for projects that expand forest biomass usage in the province. Graydon Smith says the forest sector is already deeply integrated, but there's an effort to find more opportunities for companies and First Nations to take advantage of the unused wood fiber.
The forest sector is critical to Ontario's economy and success, critical to the communities it supports, like right here in Atikokan.
Smith made the announcement at the BioPower Sustainable Energy Plant in Atikokan, which produces wood pellets for many different purposes, including for the use of the Atikokan Generating Station to create electricity. The Ford government previously created a forest biomass action plan where stakeholders provided input on how to maximize sawdust, shavings, and wood waste. Smith says the government is now funding that plan.
That's why today I'm pleased to announce the Forest Biomass Program. Through this program, we're providing an initial investment of close to $20 million for funding to projects that will expand our wood harvest from Crown forests, support the forest sector's role as a creator of good jobs that build strong communities.
We are proud to be a partner in the local economy, supporting the Atikokan Ontario Power Generation Biomass Fuel Generating Station just to the north, as well as the area sawmills and forestry operations to ensure that future generations can continue to thrive and support their families, harvesting our responsibly managed sustainable natural resources.
Applications to the Forest Biomass Program will begin being accepted early this summer.
Around 225 evacuees from Kashechewan First Nation have now returned home after spending the past 3 weeks in Thunder Bay. The evacuees began arriving in the city on May 4th after being evacuated because of a flooding threat from the spring melt and ice breakup along the Albany River. Thunder Bay Fire Rescue Division Chief Dennis Breskeson says 4 flights carrying Kashechewan residents left yesterday, followed by 2 more departures this afternoon. The evacuees were hosted in local hotels and provided food, cultural services, children's activities, and health care.
The 6 leading candidates vying to be the next mayor of Toronto squared off in a televised debate last night.
And today, polls show that one candidate has emerged as the front runner. Allison Hurst reports.
1 month from today, Toronto will choose its next mayor. And a new poll by Main Street Research suggests Olivia Chow's lead is growing.
The Chowmentum is back.
The poll follows a marathon 2 days packed with 4 debates, where the leading 6 candidates squared off.
It's going to be hard to break out from this pack.
Till Election Day.
One who was not on the debate stage but is making gains is Anthony Furey. According to this poll, he's now ahead of Mitzi Hunter and Brad Bradford.
I am going to eliminate the municipal land transfer tax for first-time homebuyers. It's the only actual lever the city has to directly decrease the price of homes.
Out on the campaign trail, the apparent frontrunner pledged to improve transit.
We need to reverse the cuts to TTC and improve transit service to the pre-pandemic levels so we can bring the riders back to the TTC.
Anna Bailau promised to protect Billy Bishop Airport.
We need to leverage the assets this city already has, like the Island Airport, to ensure sustained economic growth and recovery.
Brad Bradford vowed to speed up approvals for housing.
I will cut the red tape, and I will make sure that we're bringing more housing options into more neighborhoods for more people.
Mark Saunders brought up his experience in policing and public safety.
Keeping our city safe, because the city that's not safe isn't healthy, and if it's not healthy, it's not vibrant, it's not sustainable.
Mitzi Hunter pointed to her platform's fully funded plan.
We're not just waiting around for some level of government to come and rescue us, especially when they've said no, they're not.
And Josh Matlow addressed affordable housing.
And we're going to be moving forward without the private development industry to actually get those homes built.
According to Main Street's poll, roughly 20% of Toronto voters are still undecided.
That was Allison Hurst reporting. The closing day of Lakehead University's 58th convocation ceremonies saw the community auditorium packed with well-wishers once again, eager to see their loved ones finally graduate after years of hard work. Today's graduates completed their studies in programs from the Faculty of Business Administration and the Faculty of Health and Behavioral Sciences. Michelle Posian, the 2023 valedictorian and Commerce graduate, offered encouragement and words of advice to her fellow graduates.
Let us remember the importance of staying curious and being compassionate, adaptable, and innovative lifelong learners.
Well, I'm so excited to be here for convocation. I mean, every year it's special, but I think this year is extra special because we're back in the community auditorium. We're celebrating the achievements of all of our graduates, and it's a beautiful day to be doing it. We actually have over 2,000 students that are graduating this year.
It is wonderful. It's very exciting. One of my goals for this year is to challenge myself with a little bit more public speaking, but it feels great to be selected for this honor. I'm very excited to kind of share a little bit of inspiration with my classmates, and it's a great way as kind of to cap off the last 4 years at Lakehead.
As graduation ceremonies conclude, many are choosing to take a much-deserved break, while some are considering going back to school. Posian has a job lined up. She'll soon begin a career as a risk advisory consultant.
A historic medal has been returned to the Rainy River First Nations. In 1873, 12 commemorative medals were minted to mark the signing of Treaty 3.
Now, on the 150th anniversary of the treaty, one of those medals is back where it belongs. Lee Noonan has the story.
150 years ago, the chiefs who signed Treaty 3 were presented with a medal. And for years, former Rainy River First Nations chief Jim Leonard had heard rumors that one was still in the region. He eventually learned that the medal was real, on display at the Fort Frances Museum, and to his great surprise, on loan from his close friend, Ted Brocky.
But my sister and I, Helen Wyszynski, thought it was about time, especially 150 years later, that the medallion saw its rightful home.
Brocky presented the medal to current Chief Marcel Medicine Horton at the community's annual fish fry.
This medal could have been touched by Chief Mawandalpanes back in the day. It could have been touched by any one of those former chiefs 150 years ago. And to stand here with the chieftainship, sorry, there's no higher honor.
It's something that we have striven from for many, many years, is to be good friends with our neighbors. And this is, one of the highlights of my life is to dream about this medal for many, many years and to finally see it coming home.
Rainy River First Nations has now entrusted the medal to Kanachiwanung, its historical center. Manager Jesse Richards says the medal is in pristine condition and preserving it will be a top priority for the center.
This medal is a very significant part of our collection, and it's going to fuel the interest and passion of history of our next generations. It's going to allow researchers to come and study it and see something in the flesh, because the only other ones that we really know about are in the Archives of Canada.
Kanachiwanung is commissioning a replica which will be on display there. The original will be housed in a vault that's temperature and humidity controlled and will only be accessible to members of the community and the public by appointment. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
The Thunder Bay Regional Health Sciences Foundation continues to make new millionaires. Local Phil and Rosanna Rusin found out today that they've won more than $1.1 million in the Thunder Bay 50-50 draw for May.
Do you have any plans for the summertime?
Of course.
Well, if I told you you had an extra $1.1 million in cash laying around, would your plans change?
Of course they would.
So you've won the Thunder Bay 50-50 in May, and you are taking home $1,104,978.
How do I know this is real?
This is real.
I'm a little in shock right now.
I'm sure the excitement set in soon afterward. The lucky couple had been talking about building a gazebo, but I think it's safe to say they can expand those plans a bit now. The Thunder Bay 50-50 has now awarded more than $23 million in prizes since its inception early in the pandemic. Tickets for next month's draw are on sale.
Yeah, playing it cool there on the phone.
Oh, absolutely.
As, like you said, our shock had set in.
Absolutely.
Fiona, I was more excited today when I found out that our temperatures got up to 26 degrees.
It took a while, though, unfortunately. It wasn't until after about 3 o'clock that the temperatures jumped up. I walked out this afternoon around 2:30 and was a little disappointed by the temperatures, but shot up a good 8-9 degrees in the matter of about an hour and topped out at 26. That was after an early morning low of 2. Winds were very light off the lake, east-northeast, 9 to 22 kilometers per hour, but loads of sunshine. It was just a beautiful day out there, and if you were doing anything outside, it was probably quite comfortable for you. The warm temperatures are spreading across the region from the west. Last night, overnight lows were around 15, 16 for most areas to the west of Thunder Bay. At this hour, loads of sunshine and temperatures in the high 20s, humidex levels in the 31 range throughout, from Fort Frances all the way through Kenora, Dryden, even up into Red Lake, where the humidex is currently sitting at 32 with just a few clouds. As we head eastward, 29 in Sioux Lookout and Armstrong. Yeah, that was 30 you saw in Pickle Lake. 29 also in Greenstone with just a few clouds. Definitely cooler along the lakeshore, 22 in Nipigon, and Marathon just 11 Celsius at this hour. Sault Ste. Marie, one of the cooler locations as well, 22 and mostly cloudy. Now, here in the city of Thunder Bay tonight, it's going to be a little milder than last night, a low of 8. Clear skies and winds at times a little bit gustier, up to 32 kilometers per hour from the east-northeast. But the heat that is slowly moving in and across the region is going to stick around. In fact, this is a very strong warm front that is just rotating around. Sorry, I should be doing it this way. But basically what it's going to be doing is it's going to keep the rain out of the region. So this looks scary, but ignore it because it's not going to really affect Thunder Bay and areas directly around it for the next few days. And I'll have more details on exactly how warm it's going to get later on in the news hour.
Okay, thanks a lot, Fiona. Well, another incident of gun violence in southern Ontario today. A 17-year-old teen in Brampton was shot outside a busy plaza. We'll have details on that and more when your Friday News Hour continues after this.